Well, g'day curd nerds. Today we're going to be making Pecorino Ricotta Salata. Now, ricotta salata is just basically ricotta made from whey, and you press and salt it and you let it air dry for a few months to form a rind, and it becomes a bit of a grating cheese. Anyway, I had some leftover whey that I used from a pecorino, and this whey had so much milk fat, so many solids in it that it formed quite a large, there we go, quite a large ricotta salata. Now, it doesn't look large, but I tell you what, that's from 10 litres of milk after I made a cheese beforehand. So pretty cool. Anyway, let me show you how I made Pecorino Ricotta Salata. So you'll need to collect between 6 and 8 litres of whey from sheep's milk. I had some left over from a Pecorino Romano that I made. Now you directly heat the whey to 92 degrees Celsius, which is 197 Fahrenheit. Make sure that you stir consistently because you do not want the whey to burn on the bottom. That'll affect the taste of your final ricotta, which you need to create obviously before you make the ricotta salata. So once the target temperature has been reached, we pour in 1/4 cup of vinegar. Now I'm using apple cider vinegar in this instance. It doesn't matter what kind of vinegar you add, just don't add balsamic vinegar. It'll really make the taste be funky. Make sure the heat is turned off and you'll see that the ricotta starts to form and floats to the top. Starts to consolidate, makes it a lot easier to ladle into your butter muslin lined colander. It is fairly delicate stuff, so do ladle the majority of it into the colander, and then you can pour the rest of the way through. Now let that drain for about 5 minutes. This makes it a lot easier to press in the next stage. So we're going to mill in our salt, and I'm chosen to add in 2 teaspoons of salt here for the quantity of ricotta that I have. So mix that through thoroughly. And then we're going to fill a cheesecloth lined basket with the ricotta. So just fold the cheesecloth over the top, put the follower on top, give it a bit of a press down, and then grab your cheese press. And we're going to press this cheese of the ricotta salata at 10 kilograms or 22 pounds for 12 hours. Should be enough pressure to make it firm enough that you should be able to age this cheese in the cheese fridge. So after the 12 hours, we're going to remove it from the press. It should have formed the shape you're after. A cheese wheel shape, that is. Now if it's got any burrs, cut that off at now. Now we're rubbing in salt, just sprinkling salt liberally over all the surfaces of the ricotta salata. And we're going to put that then into a maturation box with the lid off. Just make sure it's got a rack on the bottom. I'm just going to make sure I sanitize that rack. Give it a spray with vinegar. Make sure there's no funky molds going to grow on it. That has been cleaned in the dishwasher. So now I'm going to place that into the ripening box for 12 hours to air dry. This also lets any whey that's trapped in the ricotta salata to drain out as well. So 12 hours later, we're going to drain off any of the expelled whey that's sitting in the bottom. Just into the sink. There was a fair bit of it actually. I was quite surprised. And we're going to re-salt the cheese this time. Same as before, just liberally shaking salt over all the surfaces and give it a gentle rub. This helps create a surface or a rind for the cheese. It also continues to expel any whey that may be trapped in the cheese, because ricotta salata is a dry cheese. It's not very moist, because that's just the nature of the ricotta that you've got once you've pressed most of the whey and moisture out of it. So we're going to place that back in the ripening box to air dry for another 12 hours. By that time it should be fairly touch dry, and we can put it into the cheese cave to mature. So we're going to ripen at 10 to 13 degrees Celsius, which is 50 to 55 Fahrenheit, at 85% relative humidity for at least 3 months. Now you need that time for the rind to develop correctly. Now, Pecorino Ricotta Salata, this is after 3 weeks. That's starting to form a rind. But you'll get the general idea. You should be able to use it as a grating cheese when it is at least 3 months old. Anyway, it came in at a fairly good weight. So that's 1 pound, 7 ounces and 6, which equates to 23.6 ounces, which is 668 grams. So fairly good weight out of that amount of whey that I had. So there we have it. Ricotta salata made from sheep's milk whey. Very simple to make. The pressing was easy. Why wouldn't you make this cheese if you had some leftover whey, either from ewe's milk or goat's milk, nanny goat's milk, or cow's milk? So simple to make, and take it from me, I've made ricotta salata before. As long as it's heavily salted, it is very tasty. Anyway, if you want to see how I made cow's milk ricotta salata, you can click over here. Don't forget that you can support the show via Patreon and join the many people who are supporting the show each month. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get updates when I release more cheesy content. Thanks for watching, Curd Nerds, and I'll see you next time.